Are we on? Yes, we are. Good evening, everyone. So, I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to get wild. Strap into your seats because I've just realized a few spelling mistakes in my title, but let's not worry about that because I'll deal with that afterwards. So, what I'm going to put to you now, ladies and gentlemen, is something wild, something so crazy, I can't believe I'm even talking about it. If you was on the live stream earlier, you guys know that I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole with these Epstein files, right? And the stuff that's been released on these Epstein files, it's not. There's one aspect, right, of the Epstein files. There's the aspect of international trafficking. Certain words, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? International trafficking. That's one aspect that everyone, I thought everyone, seems to be focused on. Everyone seems to be focused on that. And then there's the other aspect of the Epstein files, which focuses on gravity, new technology, interdimensional dynamics. So I'm looking at this now, and I'm going down a little bit of a rabbit hole. And then I'm on the internet. I'm doing some internet looking, and I came across this article. And I'm not making this up, ladies and gentlemen. And I had to trace back the source of this article. So the source of this is let me share this with you now. Trump set to reveal aliens exist in historic UN speech for July, claims UK filmmaker. Now, I'll show you guys the source of this information. I'm sharing that from the article with you, but this is out in quite a few mainstream media outlets. Now, the reason I'm not sharing the other mainstream media outlets is for some reason, there's some newspapers when I open some screens up, it closes my live stream down. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's something to do with the cookies or whatever. Now the source for that information is this gentleman here. So I'm going to share this. This is exactly now straight from the horse's mouth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this. So this is the guy himself, Mark Christopher Lee. Exclusive, my source inside the US, inside the Trump administration, provided this full text of President Trump's prepared historic announcement on non-human intelligence, featured in today's Daily Mail. I can't share the Daily Mail with you guys because for some reason, if I've seen it, I've got it open, but when I share things off the Daily Mail and do the split screen, it just closes my live stream down. So you're going to have to take my word for it, or you're going to have to maybe look for it yourselves, and I'll try and put the link in the description below. But that text there, this little bit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys my opening monologue, and then we are going to read through this together. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we are talking about aliens exist, potentially. That's something that Donald Trump, mainstream media are saying that Donald Trump is set to announce aliens exist this year. And wouldn't it make sense? Wouldn't it make more sense than anything? Like, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Trump, right? So I'll give you guys my opening monologue, and then I'll jump onto the chat, and then we will and then we'll explore what the actual text means. But before we get on to that, ladies and gentlemen, if I've not asked you already, please make sure you hit those buttons down below. You know, those fantastic buttons, the like, comment, subscribe, share, comment, share, like, subscribe, bell notification, all those things, because that really does help me out. So this has got everyone talking, from the UFO groups on Facebook to the tabloids splashing across the front pages. And as a Brit, I've been spending years looking at these things. I've been looking at crop circles. I've been looking at Randlesham Forest. I've been debunking a lot of stuff as well, guys. I've been debunking a lot of stuff. So the gentleman I'm talking about, Mark Christopher Lee, I'll share with you guys the what he posted earlier. He's a filmmaker behind some solid documentaries. He's done a documentary on Randlesham Forest. He's saying he's been contacted by somebody deep inside the Trump administration, not a random. And look, guys, I'll be honest. these UFO disclosures, they're kind of like the bad weather warnings, aren't they? You know, snow forecast, snowmageddon, and like you get a bit of drizzle. So I am going to let everybody know this one's perked up my spider senses, but I'm airing with caution. I am airing with caution, but I think it's fair that I give you guys a rundown and weigh in on it. So this is not a random punter on Twitter, but an actual advisor to Trump. And what are they telling him? Well, Donald Trump has already written a speech, the big one, not the inauguration speech, the other big one, the "We are not alone in the universe" speech. We even got a date for it, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we have. We've got a date. We've got a date. We've got a real date. And the date is the 8th of July this year. Now, that is exactly 79 years since the Roswell base in New Mexico put out that extraordinary press release. We recovered a flying disc. Now, should I say this? Should I say this or should I not say this? I think I've said it before, so I think it's fine. I was at a meeting once, right? I was at a meeting and I get on with everyone. I do. I really do get on with everyone. That's why I'm kept in my job when maybe I shouldn't, because I just, I genuinely just, even if somebody's got something like, even if someone's insulted me, I'm like, oh, right, why do you think that? Oh, right, okay, tell me more. Why are you thinking that? So I get on with everyone. We're in this bar, at this meeting. Look, if anybody of you have ever been to like a defense meeting, you go there, there's a few keynote speakers, you're all sat there, and then everybody's just waiting for the bar, and the real work happens in the bar afterwards. So I'm at the bar with a couple of my colleagues. And when you go to these meetings, right, they don't just let any Tom, Dick, or Harry in these meetings. You have to be on a clientele list, right? You have to be a certain type of person with credentials. So you don't even get into that building if you're a waffler, right? How did I get in? I don't know. So you don't get into that building unless you're a waffler, right? And I got talking to this guy. Now the guy, and again, take this with a pinch of salt, guys, all right? And this guy was telling me that I believe him, right? I believe he did what he did. The next thing I'm going to tell you, I've got no reason to disbelieve him, but it's wild, all right? So I'm just going to leave it there. So I was talking to him, and he was saying, yeah, we do some tests up at, he said, like, Area 56 or something. I said, what? He's like, yeah, we got a little test flight facility up at Area 56. I said, what do you mean Area 56? He's like, in Roswell, New Mexico, in the test flight area. I don't know. Is it New Mexico? I think it is. I said, what, near Area 51? He said, yep. Anyway, we were drinking, and I get on with everyone. And I said, come on, mate, be honest. Is there like spaceships in Area 51? And he said to me, he said, well, I can't tell you the connection, because if I tell you the connection, you'll probably know, you'd be able to find him. But he said to me, he knew one of the people who'd actually seen it. And I said, what do you mean? He said, yeah, straight up, they brought in actual disc-shaped craft. And I was like, oh. And it would just absolutely knock me for six how blasé he was about it. I don't know whether he was pulling my chain. I don't think he was. He's sincere. I don't know. Maybe he got back and he said, and he's like talking to his friends and he's like, hey, man, I met this Brit. No, I told him flying saucers were real. Man, he actually believed me. I think he did, man. Did you get a contract? No, he didn't have it. He didn't. He wasn't that type of guy. I was just speaking to him for 2 hours. Maybe that's what happened. I don't think it was, because I know who that guy was, and I still have friends of friends who still work with him. So I know he's a very credible guy. But anyway, so exactly, I think it was New Mexico. So that's exactly 70. So this announcement on the 8th of January, 8th of July, 2026, is going to be exactly 79 years since the Roswell base incident. The Roswell incident in New Mexico, Area 51. You guys know the score, right? When the press release, the initial press release was, we've recovered a flying disc. Before they panicked and started calling it a weather balloon, before the whole circus of cover-ups, dummies, and denials kicked off. So that's what I know, and that's my personal relationship with that. Right? I guess it's not much of a personal relationship, but listen, as a show of hands, who else has met someone who claims to have first-hand knowledge, and spoke to them face-to-face, not seen them on the internet? Anyway, so this guy, Mark Christopher Lee, reckons, and we will read through this together in a minute, that Trump will stand up in front of the cameras and state, with billions watching, and say the words we've waited to hear for decades. Non-human intelligence exists. We've got the craft, we've got the biologics. Military pilots have seen things that defy physics. Now, I just want to touch on something here. I want to debunk a couple of things. The Tic Tac UFO, all right? I'm going to debunk that straight away. I think the Tic Tac UFO was a vacuum balloon. Yep, I do. That's what I think the Tic Tac UFO was. So I think a lot of the anomalies, a lot of the radar hits, I think that was that's technology as well. I think that's human technology. But there's still a lot of stuff that we can't debunk. If anybody wants me to explain what I think these radar hits are, let me know at the end of the live stream, and I'll explain what I think that is and why I think they're being used. So he even claims, and I will share the source material in a minute, he even claims that world leaders have given him the thumbs up. So not just America going rogue, but a coordinated step into the light. New intelligence has apparently made it urgent. And when I heard this, ladies and gentlemen, this sent shivers down me barnacles. Shivers down me barnacles. So can you guys remember when that guy, Jeremy Corbell, he was saying they're going to tell you that there's an alien ship slowly making its way to Earth? Can you guys remember that? That's what they're saying, that new intelligence has apparently made it urgent. So this would make sense in line with some sort of huge alien disclosure. Now, I know what you're thinking, right? Because I'm thinking it too. I am. Here we go again. Another disclosure imminent story. Another date that comes and goes. We've been hearing these since like the 90s. Can you guys remember when, look, and I know a lot of people don't like him, but maybe he's not a good guy. Maybe he's not a good president, but you can't take it away from Obama. Obama was cool, right? Obama, I mean, I'm sure he still is cool, but he may be into a lot of dark stuff, but he may not, but he was cool. You can't take someone's coolness away from them. And I can remember when he was on a chat show and somebody asked him about aliens, and Obama said, well, we're told that we can't officially accept or deny whether there's non-human intelligence on this planet. And I was like, well, that, it's like so many things are hidden in plain sight. Even our own MOD have got files released. You've got this guy, Ross Coulthard, and when I watch these UFO guys, I debunk so much of it straight away in my head. And that's just me, right? So, but there's also stuff that they're not talking about that I can't debunk. Crop circles, for one. Like, crop circles, I cannot debunk. Anyway, so this guy, Ross Coulthard, he's like the UFO journalist guy, right? He's waving the red flag and caution. There's no hard proof, no official word from the White House, just this guy's statement and a very peculiar X post, right? But here's the thing that makes this stick for me. The gentleman in question, he's not some wide-eyed conspiracy nut. You know, like the guy on Ancient Aliens? I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's probably aliens. You know, he he's documented real cases where British airmen saw something that wasn't a lighthouse or a meteor. And Trump, well, he's dropped hints before. He said there are interesting things about Roswell, and he's promised to declassify lots of files. If anyone, honestly, guys, like realistically, if there's ever a US president who's going to stand up there and let people know that we are not alone in the universe, it's Donald Trump, right? It's DJT. He's the one who's going to throw that out there. So that's what I just want to focus on tonight, guys. I've got some other things to focus on. I've got some more about the Epstein files. I've got some, we've got some more about stuff that's happening in the United Kingdom. But let me jump onto the chat. If anybody's still with us, is anyone still with us? Or has anybody gone? Has anybody gone? Right. Carol Brown is saying they are going to eat us humans. Carol Brown, I say this all the time. I say this all the time, right? If aliens come to Earth, the only thing that we have on Earth that, people are saying, oh, aliens are going to come to Earth and they're going to take our water. Okay. Aliens are going to come to Earth and they're going to mine our rare earth materials. Let me let everyone into a little secret. Just a little secret. Tiny, tiny little secret. There's more rare earth materials easily available floating around the cosmos. There's more water floating around the cosmos. There's more hydrocarbons on Titan, which is a moon of Saturn, than there ever has been on Earth. The only thing that would be harvested from Earth, is humans. Mickey is saying kinky alien invasion. Where's that come from? Who? Mickey Yo-Yo is just he just lowered the tone. He just lowered the tone. I can debunk everything. It's all crazy talk. Listen, maybe it is crazy talk. Maybe it's not. I'm just going to jump up. Zombie Force is saying reverse engineering is the definition of what is and of what is and discover technology versus last 80 years from wagons to jets. Reverse engineering is the definition. I don't understand what that means. I don't understand what that means. What I will say about reverse engineering technology, I don't even know where my phone is. But can you imagine giving a caveman, or not even a caveman. Can you imagine giving someone from the 1900s a smartphone and saying reverse engineer that? They'd have no idea. So I do think that when we talk about reverse engineered technology, two main things. I'll probably get 5 or something, but 2 main things come to mind. All right. I'm doing this in real time, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you love me. Okay. That's why you love me. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, guys. Make sure you hit those buttons. So when we talk about reverse engineering technology, the 2 things that, I'll just keep repeating that for the next hour. The 2 things that strike me, right, are 1, like I just said, any technology 50, 100 years in the future, forget about it. Indistinguishable. You're not going to know how that works. But if that technology is reversible, if our scientists do understand it, if our scientists can reverse engineer that technology, then that means that whatever they're reversing, they're not too far ahead of us. Which means if we are having World War aliens, then that gives us a fighting chance, right? If our own scientists can reverse engineer this. Right, let me just change this. Give me a second, guys. hang on. Let me, sorry, I'm just trying to find a video because there was a video that I wanted to share with you guys. Right, I'm going to have to search for it again. I can't find it. So earlier on, I'm trying to find this video. So earlier on, I was we was talking about some of the information that's been released. Some of the information that's been released in the Epstein files. And I saw a video from a while ago that really articulated what I've been talking about. I'm just trying to find it now. Give me a sec. There it is. Right. So I know I'm flim-flamming around a little bit, guys, but I do think this is all connected. And if anyone's looking at my face, right, if anyone's looking at my face and thinking, wow, Sean's face is clean, I've just squirted cider in my face. I didn't mean to. I had a bottle of cider. I was trying to open it quick because I had like 2 minutes to get on the live stream, and it just popped off in my face. Right. So here I found the video. Right. So I'm going to share this video with you guys. So while we're talking about aliens and wild stuff, I think it's fair to understand what's just been released. There we are. Got it.
Agree with Kozlov.
Right. I'm not going to play this whole video because it's like 7 minutes long. I'm just going to play the first bit. Now, I want you guys to understand what I was talking about earlier on. Earlier on, we were talking about Jeffrey Epstein files and the wild stuff that's been released. Everybody understands that he was a bad man. Everybody understands that things that were happening to girls were disgusting. Now, there's another direction of travel that nobody seems to be talking about. Nobody seems to be giving airtime, right? And this is it.
The Vatican, City of London, Knights of Malta. Do you think any of these groups have disproportionate power today?
Yeah, I would agree with Kozlov.
President Trump is confronting a growing backlash from his own base.
The fight is dividing MAGA supporters.
Donald Trump, he promised them, so he needs to do it.
Just this month, we learned a very hard truth, that our government is not our government. It's controlled by deeper power structures involving systems of blackmail and compromise.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years.
I'm of course talking about the notorious case of Jeffrey Epstein, his handler, Ghislaine Maxwell, and their client.
So, look, let me just rewind that.
Structures involving systems of blackmail and compromise.
Are you still talking?
Just listen to this, guys, when he says his handler, okay? His handler.
About Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years.
I'm of course talking about the notorious case of Jeffrey Epstein.
Just listen, guys. I promise you, just listen.
His handler, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Okay, Ghislaine Maxwell, her there, that lady. Guess who her dad is? Guess who her dad is? Robert Maxwell. Okay, I'm not making that up. That's not. There's no conspiracy there. Wikipedia. Do you know what? Maybe that's not her dad. Her dad is Robert Maxwell, right? Do you know who used to work for Robert Maxwell who got very wealthy while working for Robert Maxwell? I mean, really wealthy. Lord Ali. Do you know who the main donor to Keir Starmer is? Yeah, Lord Ali. So let's just reword that, okay? Keir Starmer works for Lord Ali. Lord Ali works for Robert Maxwell. Robert Maxwell's gone now, so who would take over his empire? I don't know. I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just saying you guys can find those things out with three hits on Wikipedia. All this shit's connected. I just can't. I'm seeing the dots. Like if you know those Dr. Dots? You know when you get those Dr. Dots as a kid? 1, 2, and you're like, fuck, what's that? You know when you get those and Imagine a dot to dot, right? But with no numbers. That's where I feel I am right now. All right. I'm seeing all this information. I'm seeing all these dots, but I don't know how to connect it in the right manner.
And their client list, the rich, powerful elite that he procured sexual favors for from unwilling underage women.
And on the wall, there was a big artwork of a woman being by a walrus.
Oh, wow.
I'm also talking about Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, Trump, and his whole team campaigning on exposing Epstein's network and then turning around and gaslighting the American public, acting like Epstein was a lone actor who took his own life in jail.
And are people still talking about this guy?
Right, I'm going to leave it there. Right, I'm going to leave it there. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be unpacked. I want to focus on UFOs. I want to focus on UAPs. I want to focus on the absolute insanity that's happening right now, ladies and gentlemen. I might jump back to that video later on. I might not. But look, what we can all agree is something huge is happening right now. I called this was it Thursday? I think, or maybe it might have even been Friday. I said, listen, there's so much stuff happening right now. It's hard to fathom. Have you guys seen the gold price and the silver price and Bitcoin price? Boom! That shit just fall, bro. That shit just fall. So look, and I'll be honest with you guys. I want to focus on aliens today, but I am going down this rabbit hole because my spider senses have been perked up huge. And for those of you guys who don't know, I started these channels doing military stuff, okay? And I understand that I can, like anything, if you want me to find you some sort of special forces tactic or some sort of secret piece of kit and equipment, it's all out there readily on the internet, right? You just need to know where to look and you need to know what to put together. So I know I can do that with the military, right? I 100%. With this stuff, I can't do it. I don't know what I'm looking at exactly. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking at, basically. So let's get back onto this guy, okay? So for those of you guys, if you're just joining, ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining for the first time, and if you are joining for the first time, if you've not done so already, please hit those buttons down below. So we are talking about aliens exist. And I've changed the spelling now. Yes, I have. Aliens exist. Trump to address the United Nations. And things are certainly getting weirder. Yep, things are certainly getting weirder. So this comes from this gentleman, and his name's Mark. His name's Mark Christopher Lee. And let me share his page. So I'm going to share his page, and this is like a couple of hours old, and then we're going to read this together. And I've not read this, but we'll see what we make of it. Let's see what we make of this this post. So he's saying this is an exclusive. So if you guys are joining for the first time, this guy said he's got an exclusive. My source inside the Trump administration provided this full text on Trump's prepared historic announcement on non-human intelligence. This has also been out in the mainstream media. So let's have a look-see. Let's have a look-see what it means. Okay, and I'll try and debunk this in real time. So I've been told, again, this may be fake news, this may be smoke and mirrors, I don't know. I've been told that Trump will announce to the United States government's confirmation that certain UAP encounters involve technology and craft of non-human origin. Okay, so they're not saying alien, but they're saying non-human. Maybe it's the Atlanteans. Maybe it is. Maybe it's whoever's living on Antarctica. The president will state that decades of evidence, including recovered materials and eyewitness accounts from highly credible military personnel, have been rigorously analyzed by scientific and intelligence experts, leading to the unequivocal conclusion that some incidents cannot be attributed to any known human technology, domestic or foreign. President Trump will highlight several well-documented cases, including the 2004 USS Nimitz Tic Tac encounter. Look, I personally have debunked the Tic Tac, or what I think. I might be wrong. I might be wrong, guys. Listen, I do my own work. I do my own work. I think the Tic Tac UFO was a vacuum balloon. That's what I think it was. Again, from this statement here, Trump will highlight. Trump may come on there and say, the USS Nimitz Tic Tac UFO, that was ours. That was ours. That was secret technology I can't talk about, but I can guarantee that's American technology. The 2015 USS Roosevelt Go Fast and Gimbal. I've seen those guys. I can't debunk those two. I don't have enough information. I don't really understand what I'm looking at. The footage is too grainy. I don't know what I'm looking at. I can't debunk those. And the historical 1947 Roswell incident. So, look. So what I'm getting so far is that President Trump will highlight several well-documented cases. That doesn't mean he's going to say that all those cases are aliens, right? He may say, I know I've spoken to people in the intelligence community that the 2004 USS Nimitz, you guys are calling it the Tic Tac encounter, that's American technology, some great American technology. I don't know if you guys want to sell that yet, but it's great American technology. Nobody else has that technology. It's all ours. And the 2015 USS the Go Fast and the Gimbal, yeah, that's aliens. That motherfuckers, they're aliens. They're coming right down here. We don't know what those guys are doing. And then the historical 1947 Roswell incident. He will confirm that forensic analysis of recovered, wow, this is wild, off-world vehicles and non-human biologics has established their extraterrestrial provenance, marking the first official acknowledgement of this reality by any world leader. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that, guys? And again, this brings, well, I'll come on to that in a second. The president will explain that previous administrations maintained secrecy due to the national security concerns, technological uncertainty, and fear of public reaction. This, honestly, there's so much going on in my head right now. He will emphasize that he is the first president to authorize full disclosure because the American people deserve transparency. Look, let's be clear, all right? Donald Trump's the world. He's the leader of the world. Whether you guys are like, if you live in Africa, if you live in the Middle East, wherever you live, and you think that Donald Trump is not the man who's in charge of the world, you need to think again, right? Because he is. He will emphasize that he's the first president to authorize full disclosure because the American people deserve transparency. And the world, I would say that is synonymous, but whatever. Currently, global stability allows it. What? There's no global stability. That right now, we literally, how does that even make sense? Current geopolitical stability allows it when we are closer to midnight as per the atomic clock than we ever have been. Doesn't make sense. There's a lot of things in here I'm questioning. Anyway, let's continue. And recent bipartisan congressional efforts have created the necessary framework for responsible revelation. Aliens are coming, guys, whether we believe it or not. Aliens are coming, I think. President Trump will announce immediate steps towards declassification of related files, expand scientific study through a new intra-agency task force, and international cooperation with allied nations. He will state, this is not a threat, it is an opportunity to unite Jesus Christ, that's dangerous. To unite humanity in understanding our place in the universe. look, I don't know if you guys believe this or not. It's totally up to you. I mean, there's a few question marks I've got in this thing straight away. You know, there's a few question marks, but this is where it is. And this has been flagged up by enough mainstream media outlets now. This is all over the mainstream. This is supposed to go down July the 8th. Maybe July the 4th. I think it would be better July the 4th. July the 4th. Strikeout Zone is saying, no, it's all swizzle. Right, Strikeout Zone. If you think, all right, listen, Strikeout Zone, can you give me more context, mate? Strikeout Zone, if you're still on, buddy, can you give me more context? Jeremiah is saying, demons and aliens are not the same, but the demons did come from Jesus Christ. There's some dark stuff going on here, guys. I don't know. Look, guys, I'm just a guy in my extension trying to make sense of all this stuff like you are, right? You know, I'm giving it to you guys, and I'm trying to give you guys my best case analysis, all right? Maybe we're all right. Maybe we're all wrong. Maybe it's something far weirder. You know, what I can pretty much guarantee is if it is aliens, right? And if we do get this disclosure, what comes with that is a whole new field of physics. Absolutely. Because there's no way, right? There is just no way aliens came here from another planet. They may already be on this planet, guys. They may already be here in the depths of the ocean, in Antarctica. Antarctica is very weird, all right? They may already be here, right? They may. Aliens may already be here. Or non-human intelligence, right? Interesting how they switch that. But what I'm saying is aliens, nanu, little green men did not come here from another planet millions and millions of miles away in a little tin can flying saucer. Not a chance. They didn't do that. There's either a mothership, they're either on the dark side of the moon, they're a lot closer than we think. But they did not travel, they did not traverse space and time in a little tin can under using known physics. So they're either a lot closer, or there's a whole new dimension of physics that we just don't know. And if you guys were on the live stream earlier on, we was talking about geometric unity, and I don't even understand that. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. Listen, right. That's where I am. That's my opening little pitch. That's my opening pitch, ladies and gentlemen. Louis Ackers is saying at this point, I'm open to anything. God, I'm going to cry. Louis Ackers is saying, look, at this point, I'm open to anything to get rid of Keir Starmer. No, that's not what he said, but look, I can just imagine Louis Ackers sat there, right? And he's like, at this point, I'll accept anything to get rid of Starmer. Anything is a possibility at this point. No right, no wrong. Who actually knows? I don't know. Maybe I was going to have the wrong thing. Michelle is saying, surely can't possibly think that we are the only race and creed within the universe. No, of course not. I don't think that at all. Zombie Force is saying, we are here on Earth now, and we are going to harvest all humans. It's a long way home. Look, the only thing that we have on this planet that is not in infinite abundance in the cosmos is life, is humans. So if the aliens are going to come down, ladies and gentlemen, they may tell us that they're coming to harvest the gold. They may say, we're coming from your gold. And that may be true. They may say, we're coming for your water. That may be true. They may say, we are coming for your cobalt, nickel, platinum, your silver. And all that may be true. But what also is true is those things are found in infinite supply in the cosmos, in asteroids floating around. If they say we are coming for your, we're coming for your adrenochrome. It's all about adrenochrome. Maybe it is. Maybe it's all about adrenochrome. We want your adrenochrome. We are coming for your adrenochrome. Maybe that's what's happening. You know, I don't look, guys. I'm not writing anything off. I'm not. You guys know me. I'll take anybody. Look, if somebody comes and gives you a wild conspiracy, all I'll say to him is, right, tell me more. Prove it to me. What else have we got? We've got a couple more things to share with you guys. Right, I'm going to share with you guys Joe Rogan. I'm going to do you guys, right, a Joe Rogan clip. It's right. So this is okay. So we're going to do a Joe Rogan clip, and he's doing a reaction to the moon landing, right? To Neil Armstrong. Now, I've said this a few times. I'm not going to share with you guys the whole clip, but in the chat, do we think the moon landing's real or not? In the chat right now, do we think the moon landing's was real? Now, I'm going to tell you what I always say. And I do think that I do think that the longer I've been doing these live stream videos and I've been deep diving into stuff and really researching stuff, the more I'm starting to question it, right? So I've always said, if, and I'm not saying they are, if the moon landings were faked, then the Russians needed to be in on it, right? They did. If the moon landings were fake, of course the Russians needed to be on it, because the Russians will have their radar, the telemetry equipment, I don't know what beep, 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 things they've got to be able to check, right? I've just realized I've not even got the chat on. Sorry, guys, I've got the chat on now. I do apologize. So if the moon, basically, I've always said, and I've always stopped it there. You know, when your brain works and you're like, you've got like that backdrop, you're like, right, well, of course the moon landing went ahead, because if it didn't go ahead, then the Russians were in on it. That means that the Cold War never really happened. That means that it was all a fugazi, and it sends you down a massive rabbit hole. And sometimes you just don't want to think about it, right? Anyway, sorry. Let me share this video, because this is a reaction of Joe Rogan doing a reaction about the moon landing. So I'm not going to share the whole video.
Believe you.
Anniversary of the event in 1994, Neil Armstrong made a rare public appearance and held back tears as he spoke these brief cryptic remarks before the next generation of taxpayers. Okay, so just for context, right, this is, you guys, everybody knows who Joe Rogan is, right? He's almost as popular as me. So you guys understand that Joe Rogan is now doing a reaction to another video. I think I may be done for, I don't know. I think this is a bit risky, actually. I think this is a bit risky. Right, I'm not gonna share this, right? I'm not gonna share this because I might get into trouble because it's somebody else. Am I allowed to share other people's YouTube videos? Guys, can you hear the audio? Because you only need the audio, really. Can you hear this audio? Right, guys, can you hear that audio? I don't know if you guys can hear that audio or not. Right, okay, you guys can hear. Right, you don't need to see the video, but I think that listening to the audio is fine. So I'll just play the audio, right? You only need to get that audio, right? You only need to get that audio. So and he only says one thing. He literally there's one thing that he says. So just for context, if you're joining, I'm playing the audio of a Neil Armstrong. So Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon. He's not made many public appearances, right? Which is a bit weird, but whatever, you know, some people are like that. Now he's making a speech to a load of students, basically. Let's listen to what he says. So he's saying, I'll rewind it. So the next voice you're going to hear is Neil Armstrong's. What the actual fuck? There are great discoveries to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers. What does that actually? What does that mean? Honestly, this is not just some like. This is the first man on the moon, right? He should have like. He should be going around doing talk shows. This talk show. He should be inspiring people, but instead he's talking about truth's protective layers. So there are breakthroughs available to those people who can remove one of truth's protective layers. I don't even know, honestly, I don't know what that means. I can't even speculate what that means because I'm not initiated. But what does that? I don't know what that means, guys. Do you guys know what that means? Does anybody know what removing truth's protective layers is? How do you remove? Like, I know how to remove the wrapper from a ribeye. I do. I absolutely know how to remove the wrapper from a ribeye. I can do that pretty much blindfolded. How do you remove one of truth's protective layers? What is he talking about? This is like what he should be saying is, hey everyone, I'm Neil Armstrong. I went to the moon. I'm awesome. I eat ribeye on toast. You guys need to get back up there and colonize the stars. I honestly don't know what that means, guys. I really don't know what that means. But it's just another layer of weirdness of the things that are happening. Andrew Rubin is saying it means he was part of a conspiracy that never happened and he no longer wanted to take part in it. That's why he did so few interviews. It is wild. He did do so, he didn't do many interviews, did he? Like, if you guys look into Neil Armstrong, he did very few interviews. And he wants to pull back. I don't know, guys. I genuinely don't know. I don't know. I've no idea. Right, let me jump. Oh, hang on. Oh, I've got, right. Your daily daddy is saying Rogan is Crowley. Do you know what? He does actually look a little bit like him, doesn't he? Do you know who really could be Crowley, though? Honestly, your daily daddy, look into George Bush Sr.'s wife. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, guys. I'm not saying anything else. Go and look at George Bush Sr.'s wife. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm just going to leave it there. That's a rabbit hole for you guys to jump down. It's the veil you need salvation to see past it. It's the veil you need salvation to see past it. I don't know what that means. Are we just talking in, guys? Are we all talking? Stop talking in code. I've just, your daily daddy, right? Thank you for your super. You just sent 2. Can we all stop talking in code, guys? Because I just don't understand it, right? Can somebody just tell me what's going on? Can somebody just tell me what's going on? And should I buy silver coins or not? I think I should. But should I? I don't know, guys. I don't know. What does that mean? It's the veil you need salvation to see past it. It's okay. Do you mean it's the veil? Right. Okay. Right. So it should be it's the veil you need. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Punctuation, guys. I look. Your daily daddy, we need a bit of punctuation here. I am English, by the way, guys. I am English, if you've not noticed. I am English. All right? So what your daily daddy is saying is, it's the veil. Full stop. You need salvation to see past it. That's what okay, right. I've got it now. Okay. Right. I don't even know if I want to see past it, honestly. Like, I've seen some of the stuff that's happening in these Epstein files, and I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not convinced I want to see past it. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about aliens exist, allegedly, and that is what Trump is going to address the United Nations. Yes, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Trump is going to address the United Nations. DJT, with his fantastic angelic hair, is going to address and it is fantastic, guys. He's got fantastic hair. DJT is going to address the United Nations allegedly on the 8th of is it June? Is it 8? I don't know. I said it earlier. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's earlier. And Donald Trump is going to, I think, June or July. Donald Trump is allegedly going to address the United Nations on the 8th of July and let everybody know that non-human intelligence is a real thing. We got this, and aliens are real. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I've been let down by these things so many times. It's like the winter, right? It's like the winter when you get snowmageddon and nothing happens. Right, let me just jump up and get some comments. Buzz Aldrin tweet. I don't know what that means. Kevin Mills is saying Buzz Aldrin's he's a bit of a legend, isn't he? Didn't he punch a reporter? I'm pretty sure he punched a reporter or something who said you didn't go to the moon, and then he punched them. So I'm like, where do we even go with this? John Franklin is saying, who's trying to sell walking shoes? I don't know. Who is trying to sell walking shoes? Sean, how many jabs did you have? Depends on what you mean. When I was on the boxing team, I took plenty. I did, guys. I took plenty of jabs when I was on the boxing team. I did. I took plenty of jabs. If we're talking about medical ones, I took zero of those. Right. Listen, guys, there's loads of information coming on this on the chat. I'm just going to jump down to the bottom. Peabody is saying it's a known fact. I think it is a full moon tonight as well. Oh, I've got my phone here. I'm pretty sure this is my phone, guys. Right. My moon app. Where's my moon app? My moon app. Boom! The full moon, ladies and gentlemen. We are on Fullest McMoonus. We are on Fullest McMoonus. Maybe I've gone lunar crazy. Have I gone lunar crazy? Who else has gone lunar crazy, ladies and gentlemen? Who else has gone lunar crazy? Peabody is saying, yeah, it is actually, guys, it is. It's definitely a full moon. Definitely a full moon. Right. Really, your grandparents, the Noonan descendant? I don't know what we're talking about here. Where can I watch Trump's address? Right, okay, right. Jillian, right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, if people are joining for the first time, okay, what I'm talking about now is a tweet that was given, and it's been picked up by mainstream media. So we've got many mainstream media outlets reporting on this at the moment, but this is a tweet by I'll share it with you guys again, actually. I'm not going to read it all because I've just read it all. But this is for you, Jillian. This is for you, Jillian, because I know you are fantastic with your pink fairy hair. And I love pink fairy hair, I do. So this is a tweet. This is a tweet here. Now, this statement here, allegedly, and I don't know if it's true, guys, this statement allegedly comes from someone inside Donald Trump's Trump. All right, whatever. But allegedly, he is going to make the speech on the 8th of July. Is it July? Yeah, on the 8th of July to the United Nations. Now, I don't know what's going on. What I do know is there are some bonkers things happening. Like, Guys, have you guys seen the price of gold, silver, precious metals, Bitcoin? Have you seen what's just happened to it? And for anybody on the chat, right? For anybody on the chat is saying, oh, Sean, you were saying you're going to buy silver coins. Yes, and I still am if I can get my hands on some. I'm not buying silver. I wouldn't be buying silver coins as a speculative investment. I'd be looking to buy silver coins as something to trade with, right? You see the differences. You see, people are buying things as speculative. Look, guys, you've only got a few years before the collapse happens. You really have. Whether it's aliens, whether, in fact, tomorrow morning's live stream, guys, there was an interview out. I wasn't going to mention this. So tomorrow morning's live stream, I'm going to be talking about civil war because there's another interview out yesterday. I think it was today, actually. Talking about civil war has already begun in the United Kingdom. Literally, like some of the things that I say on this channel, I don't know who's watching, but I'm pretty sure people watch this channel and then write it up as their own work, which is fine, At some point, you guys are going to have to do your own work. So what I'm saying here is tomorrow morning, basically, I'm going to be talking about civil war in the United Kingdom and how some people are saying that this has already started. It's just we haven't seen this. We haven't seen it yet. So anyway, Gillian, Trump's address hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen allegedly on the somebody help me out on the 8th of January. Also, right, I'm going to throw this one out there as well because there's an article out now on the guys, I have to throw this out there because there's a few things in this, right? They get my spider sense up, all right? This is I'm going to read you the head. In fact, can I refresh it? Yes, right. Give me a second. Right, I'm going to refresh. I'm going to refresh that again. Right. I'm just going to share this with you guys real quick, and then I'll close it down. More than 6 million working Brits would be better off on benefits. So I'm just going to read you the first bit of this. The danger is now that Britain turns into a welfare state with a bankrupt country attached. What would be another word for a welfare state? Universal basic income. I'm just saying, guys, I've been telling you guys this is coming for a while. I'm just going to read you this first sentence. More than 6 million workers would be better off benefits, according to a new analysis which warns of a sudden surge in claims. So you know how we all thought that universal basic income was going to be some sort of ultimatum? Turns out, like everything else, they're going to push it in inch by inch. So maybe the first inch, you're like, oh, that's fine, I can deal with that. The second inch, you're like, oh, God, that's just as much of a shock as the first one, but because I'm used to the first inch, I can deal with the second inch, right? And then when the third inch, you're like, oh, my God, what's happening? By the time you know it, you've got 8 inches, right? 8 inches of absolute government pounding. You don't realize because it went in slowly. Whereas if that government pounding started and the government just started by saying, yeah, we're going to give universal basic income, take it all, and went bang, 10 inches, there you go. People will be like, oh my God. But because it happened slowly over months with debate and this debate and that debate, and we're closing these stores and we're closing, everybody's unemployed now. But it does turn out, ladies and gentlemen, as per the article I just shared with you guys, More than 6 million workers would be better off on benefits, according to new analysis which warns of a surge in claims. The research has triggered warnings. Britain is in danger of becoming a welfare state with a bankrupt country attached. So you guys can remember, right, when Keir Starmer said, that's phase 1 complete, time to move on to phase 2. And everybody was like, whoa, what's he on about? We all think that the government are doing terrible. Unless you think, change your perspective. Remember what I say, right? Imagine, I need a cylinder, don't I? I need to get a cylinder. Imagine a cylinder, right? With lights shining. You guys have seen the meme. And one side, the guy's saying, it's a cube. And on the other side, he's saying, no, it's a circle. We need to understand the perspective, because what if both are true? What if one of these guys is saying, you know, what's the perspective here? Oh, Britain's destroying the country. The government are destroying the country. People on the other side are like, no, they're doing a fantastic job to get everybody on universal basic income. But Britons on a modest wage would receive more from welfare than their post-tax salary. If they could persuade doctors to sign them off and claimed a combination of out of work and health benefits, according to the Centre for Social Justice. The respected think tank, I think that's an oxymoron, but whatever. The respected think tank claims 1 in 4 full-time workers would be better off swapping wages for benefits. That is phenomenal. That is phenomenal, guys. Think about that. 1 in 4. Again, this is what the respected think tank thinks. The Centre for Social Justice. That's a respected think tank, allegedly. They are saying that 1 in 4 people would actually be better off not working and doing nothing. X82 is saying they are going to change the pension as well as part of their wider changes and remove triple lock for starters. I don't really pay attention to pensions because I'm going to work as long, like literally. I will work until I will probably die at work. I'm going to work constantly. So like when people talk about pensions and stuff, it doesn't really register to me. I don't really understand all this, or what it's all about. Buzz Aldrin, a monolith on Phobos. So for those of you guys who don't know, Phobos is one of the moons of Mars. And there's lots of people talking about this as well. Look, ultimately, look, guys, for those of you guys who don't know, should I do a crowdfunder, actually? Should I do a crowdfunder to get my observatory? Should I do a crowdfunder to get my observatory, right? Because one of the reasons I was going to build an observatory, but I ran out of money. So where I'm sitting now for you guys is in my extension on the side of my house. And I started building this in lockdown. And my initial concept was like there to have an observatory. Right? You know, the whole white dome thing. You go in there, you're looking at stars. Because I want to know what's happening, right? I want to get a massive telescope and I want to be able to see these things for myself, right? Now, absolutely ran out of money. If anybody's ever built an extension that like the cost just escalate ridiculously. So I've got a flat bit there on my roof. And it just leaks. It just leaks. And I need to redo the whole roof. Now, I to get the whole telescope and stuff, it's going to be quite expensive, because if you're going to get a telescope, you need to get a good one. I'm not talking about one of the little monocle things. I mean like a real, like, professional telescope. But where the way I built this, we have absolutely unrestricted views of the skies, unrestricted, beautiful, like out in the countryside at nighttime. Like at nighttime, the only lights you can see, apart from our own lights and the lampposts, and there's like little solar lights you've got in the garden. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? The only lights you can see in the distance are the lights from Sheffield, which are in the distance. You know, and they don't really affect things. But like straight up at nighttime where we live, you can see the Milky Way, 100%. If there's no clouds, obviously. And the pitch on the roof, so this bit here, that pitch on the roof, I've made that so that it's not obstructing, it wouldn't be obstructing a view, right? So we've got more or less 360 panoramic views. Band again, he's saying, take a mercenary job, Sean. Take a quick few grand. I don't want to. I don't want to. I get offered all the time to go and work overseas as a security consultant, but I can't deal with it, honestly. If anybody's ever worked in those circles, like you're working with people who have no idea what's happening in the world. And I would much rather be doing something meaningful. And I think this, honestly, I'll be honest with you. I feel what I'm doing now is more meaningful than going and working for the government of Cambodia and providing them with counter-terrorism training. I do. I feel what I'm doing now is more meaningful. Oh, God, there's loads of comments. Jeremiah is saying it's actually really easy to build a ship. We was talking about telescopes and observatories. Why are we going on to ships? Holly's saying stay here. Thank you, Holly. Jeremiah is saying you just need to understand magnetic energy is gravity. Oh, right, there's so much stuff going on. Right, I don't even understand the chat at the moment. Bison von Oslins is saying, Shay Sean. I'm saying here right back, Bison. Slightly off topic, but just watched War Machine. I've not seen that. All I thought was you saying all wars are pointless. Absolutely, all wars are pointless. But you know the rest. Have you seen it? I've not seen the movie. No, I've not seen the movie, but I do still think that all wars are pointless. Afghanistan, right? Afghanistan. British military took the bad guys to the candy shop, handed back over Afghanistan. Straight away, the Taliban took control. Pointless. Iraq. Look at Iraq right now. I wouldn't say it's the people who run Iraq now are the Iranians, right? So the coalition went into Iraq 2003. They ousted Saddam and gave it to the Iranians. There you go. So I do think all wars are pointless ultimately. 10 years after a war ends, everything goes back to the way it was, and people get rich and people get dead. Oh, guys, there's so much on the chat. Right, listen, guys, this is going crackers, right? Sean, learn astral travel. Cost is free. I've tried so many times. Does anybody know what the gateway experience is? Does anybody know what it's by? It was done by the Monroe Institute, and it's I didn't realize what it was, but I've got it. So the gateway experience is a series of like weird meditation. Jesus Christ, right? Right, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about, guys, and then I am going to close this live stream down, right? It's going to be a wild one. We're talking about wild stuff, okay, ladies and gentlemen? So we are talking about aliens exist today. Trump is to address the United Nations on, July the 8th or January the 8th. If you're going to have to rewind. And he allegedly is going to tell the United Nations that non-human intelligence does exist. All right. Now, I had the, this is the last thing I'm going to say, guys, and then I'm literally going to close it down. All right. I'm literally going to close this down. Digital signal is faster than light. No, nothing is faster than light. Even a digital signal, nothing is, okay, so E equals MC squared means information. Nothing can travel faster than the speed of light, guys. It can't, all right? Oh, we're going down a rabbit hole, okay. Nothing can travel faster than the speed of light, right? That's why I've been saying, if aliens are here, if aliens are coming, if aliens are something, right, then this speech that nobody's talking about means that they are either one, operating on physics that we don't know, or two, they've been here a lot longer. They're already here, right? They're either on the other side of the moon, they're in Antarctica, or they're under the oceans, right? But nothing can travel faster than the speed of light, guys. That's the reality, all right? Nothing. It doesn't work like that. Now, can you warp space-time and move? Yes, Big B, you are right. Big B. Light in a vacuum is faster than light. Okay, sorry. Let me rephrase that. So E equals MC squared means energy, mass, speed of light, squared. So basically what E equals MC squared translated means nothing can move faster than the speed of light in a vacuum. Right. Do you think Area 51? Guys, we're coming all back. We're coming all back. Right. Right. You know what? I was just going to tell you guys about, you know, there's these theories about these giant trees, right? You know how there's these theories about these giant trees. And there's like, Sean is turning into Candice Owens. I know, I'm going crazy. Right, okay. I'm not going to give you guys what I saw. Right. Slim Yin is saying Sean's turning into Candice Owens. And I get that, right? So I'm not going to tell anyone what I saw while I was meditating in relation to these giant trees. I'm not going to tell you guys that because that would be going full Candice Owens. That would be going full Candice Owens. How do you freeze just one side of a magnet? Who's saying you can freeze one side of a magnet? You can't freeze one side of a magnet. If you could freeze one side of a magnet, you would have a monopole magnet and you would be, that's free energy. So what you're talking about there, Cindy, I was going to call you Candice. What you're talking about there, Cindy, is free energy, and there's no such thing as free energy. Right, oh God, we got so much cracker stuff. I'm done. I'm done. I'm cooked. Where was I? I was talking about someone else. Right, Holly's World, right? This is what I want to talk about. So earlier on in the live stream, I was talking about, I met a guy, and you're going to have to rewind it to find out why. I met a guy. I was at a very credible meeting. There was a lot of guys from the, right, guys, listen, there's people talking about you can freeze a magnet. You cannot freeze a magnetic field. It doesn't work like that, all right? It does not work like that. You can super cool mercury, and then that will act as a super fluid. Now, that super fluid is, you can manipulate that by an electric charge, but that is totally different, right? That's a total different rabbit hole we need to go down. Jesus Christ, this is going crackers. Sharon Owen is saying the chat has crashed Sean's brain. I'll have you know that nothing crashes Raven's brain. Right. Earlier on in the live stream, we was talking about Area 51. I met a guy, and you're going to have to rewind to get his credentials. I believe he was credible. And he was saying to me, he had some flights going from Area 53 or 51. I said, what? Like in New Mexico? He said, yeah. I said, come on, mate. We'd had a few beers, quite a lot. I said, come on, mate. Is there aliens down there? What's happening at Area 51? And he said to me, he knows someone firsthand. So that was second-hand information. I'm giving you this as third-hand information, right? And I understand, take it with a pinch of salt, but he was saying that he knows somebody who was there the day that those saucers went into Area 51, and he saw them with his own eyes. And on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you good evening. I do. This live stream went absolutely wild, but I'm not going to lie. I think I liked it. I'm going to close you guys down now. Make sure to be back on tomorrow morning at 10, because I'm going to be talking about the civil war that has already started in the United Kingdom. More people are talking about this, ladies and gentlemen, not just me. I bid you all good evening, and I will see you guys in the morning.